Jacob Zuma's private prosecution matter against state advocate Billy Downer and journalist Karyn Maughan has been postponed to the 4th of August. Zuma alleges Downer leaked his confidential medical records to News 24 journalist Karyn Maughan. For more on this, we cross now to our colleague Jayed Paulse. Very good morning to you, Jayed. The matter now postponed. Can you tell us what transpired in court?
Well, a very good morning, Desiree. And, you know, when I spoke to legal analyst Melusi, he also said that there possibly could have been a postponement on the cards, and today we did see so. Court, very short briefing held there where we saw the former President Jacob Zuma in court this morning, as well as advocate Billy Downer and News 24 senior journalist Karyn Maughan has been postponed to the 4th of August. And this is to allow an application to first be dealt with. Now, we know that the matter has been postponed to the 4th of August, but there are still applications that have been brought to the High Court. Now, just to break this all down for us and explain as to why the postponement occurred today, I am joined by Melusi, a legal analyst. Melusi, you said that this possibly would happen. This only makes sense to deal with that urgent application brought by Karyn Maughan.
Yes, it makes sense because I think both of them brought applications, not only accused one and accused number two. So they have to deal with the issues, they have to have time to deal with the issues which they are raising to set aside the private prosecution. Then if they are not set aside on the 4th of August, the process for private prosecution will obviously begin. So we'll have to wait until then to hear what decision will be made before August. It only makes sense. As we indicated in the morning, we did say we don't see anything being done much. We don't see any finalization of this matter today because there are a lot of issues. This case is connected to the arms deal and other issues. So it has to be dealt with. It needs time for it to be dealt with sufficiently.
Now, there's also another application by the Friends of the Court applying also to support, that being SANEF, as well as the Helen Suzman Foundation, who are in support of Karyn Maughan, but also in support of advocate Billy Downer. That application also needs to be heard. It was reserved. So there's several applications that have been brought. Is it likely that we'll see another postponement in March?
Maybe they will deal with it before, but obviously SANEF is interested in this matter as they represent journalists, so they want their voice to be heard as well. And I think it will only make sense for them to be brought into the case if they want to support, especially Ms. Maughan.
I want to go back to the fact that Karyn Maughan did not have a noli prosecute from the NPA, and she does not have that certificate in hand, and that's basically a hanging cloud over her case. Talk to us about the possibility of it being thrown out of court due to the fact that she hasn't got a noli prosecute.
Okay, my view is, should it be thrown out of court? The question will then be based on that. Would it be can it be brought back if the private prosecution starts the process afresh as it should have done before? So we will see what will be decided then. But here's what I wanted to state clearly. The reason why we are here is because the private prosecution feels that advocate Billy Downer took some information and gave it to the journalist, which is Ms. Maughan. So the main thing is to find out, was there an offence at this stage? Because that is based on Section 41, subsection 6 of the National Prosecuting Authority Act, which we discussed with you in the morning. So if he did that without the permission of the National Director, then there is a case to answer to. But let's remember the noli prosecute certificate that we are aware of was given in June 2022, last year. Specifically, even if you read the media, the spokesperson's submission, it was about the case against Billy Downer. So I would like to hear, when it's dealt with in March, how the private prosecution team will answer to that, to say why have they joined her in. That's what I will see in March. Hopefully it will fold out in March.
And that's essentially what Karyn Maughan is also saying, that she was not a part of the original that noli prosecute that was handed over to advocate Billy Downer. In the eventuality that it does go further, just talk to our viewers about how many years are we talking here with regards to Karyn Maughan if she's found guilty?
Well, if you read Section 41, subsection 6, and you read below, they talk about being given a fine or a sentence of 15 years, but a minimum sentence of 15 years. That is what the sentence is likely to be. But before we put the cart before the horse, as I said, let's see if it will be set aside or not, because there are interesting legal issues that they've raised, and it will be interesting to see how the private prosecution will respond to those issues.
Be a very interesting one, and we're going to be looking closely in March what happens. Well, Desiree, there you have it. Mr. Xulu, legal analyst there, talking to us about what could possibly happen in March. We are dealing with the main case, and that's going to be heard on the 4th of August, but there are several applications that have been brought, and they still need to deal, well, this court still needs to deal with those applications. We have an application brought by SANEF as well as Helen Suzman Foundation applying to be friends of the court, essentially saying they want to support and have a voice in this matter with regards to Karyn Maughan as well as Advocate Billy Downer. But then there's also that urgent interdict application by Maughan and Billy Downer to have their matters set aside. Maughan saying that this is a witch hunt on her, that she has been covering the corruption trial of former President Jacob Zuma for over 20 years, and he's trying to, this is a witch hunt against her. Then also Billy Downer, also Advocate Billy Downer, also coming out and saying that he wants Zuma, former President Jacob Zuma, wants him to not be a part of this trial because he has a bias towards former President Jacob Zuma. So these things have come up. We've been watching this play out for several years now. Where we are right now, we can tell you that it has been postponed to the 4th of August. However, the applications will be heard in March.